They're about to break their silence, not because everything suddenly became easy, not because fear disappeared overnight, not because they woke up one day completely healed and certain, but because there comes a point where silence becomes heavier than truth. There comes a point where holding everything in hurts more than speaking. And many of them have reached that threshold now. For a long time, they believed distance was control. If they stayed quiet, they could avoid rejection. If they stayed quiet, they could avoid accountability. If they stayed quiet, they could pretend the connection was something temporary. If they stayed quiet, they could keep one foot in the familiar and one foot near the unknown. So they chose silence. Not always because they felt nothing, often because they felt too much. They felt the depth of what this connection required. They felt the mirror it placed in front of them. They felt how impossible it was to remain divided in your presence. And instead of stepping deeper, they stepped back. They chose distance over vulnerability. They chose delay over honesty. They chose confusion over clarity. But time has a way of revealing what avoidance cannot solve, because distance can mute sound, but it cannot erase truth. Silence can delay growth, but it cannot stop what is meant to be faced. So while they stayed quiet on the outside, something was happening on the inside. They replayed conversations. They remembered moments they once minimized. They felt the weight of words unsaid. They noticed how no one else touched them the same way. They realized distractions expire quickly when something real remains underneath. And slowly, the silence they once used as shelter became a prison. Because when someone knows, they abandon something meaningful. Peace becomes difficult to fake. They may have smiled publicly while privately carrying regret. They may have looked busy while inwardly feeling empty. They may have tried to convince themselves that moving on was enough, but movement without healing is often just motion, and eventually, the soul gets tired of pretending. That is why some of you have felt their energy returning lately, a sudden memory, their name crossing your mind, dreams becoming vivid again, an unexplainable emotional wave, a feeling that something unfinished is pressing at the edge of your awareness. Because before action happens physically, it often stirs energetically first. When someone is wrestling with truth, the field changes. When someone is preparing to speak, the silence becomes louder. When someone is standing on the edge of courage, you may feel the movement before you see it. Many of them are there now. They have drafted messages in their mind. Hey, how have you been? I've been thinking about you. I owe you an apology. Can we talk? Simple words, yet words that feel enormous. When someone has spent years hiding behind silence, because the message itself is rarely the hardest part. It is what the message admits. It admits they still care. It admits they were affected. It admits they cannot fully move forward without acknowledging what happened. It admits pride did not protect them. It admits your absence mattered. And for someone who once used avoidance as emotional armor, that level of honesty can feel terrifying. So they type, then delete. They open the chat, then close it. They look at your profile, then look away. They decide tonight is the night, then postpone it one more time. This has happened more than you know. But postponement has an expiration date, because eventually the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. That is where they are approaching now. Some are realizing you are no longer waiting in the same energy. You are calmer, more self-contained, less reactive. less available to inconsistency. You no longer orbit their indecision. And that shift is deeply felt, because when someone thought they had unlimited time, your peace reminds them they do not. When someone thought they could return whenever convenient, your growth shows them doors can close. When someone thought your heart would remain on pause, your evolution teaches otherwise. This is why movement often happens when the other person truly chooses themselves, not as punishment, but because self-respect changes the dynamic. It removes the old pattern that allowed stagnation to continue, and suddenly they must meet reality. Reality says you cannot keep delaying forever. Reality says if it matters, act. Reality says someone healing will not remain available for confusion indefinitely. So courage begins to form. Not loud courage, not cinematic courage. Quiet courage. The kind that trembles while typing. The kind that fears rejection, yet reaches anyway. The kind that knows an answer is not guaranteed, but honesty is overdue. And this is important to understand. Breaking silence is not always proof of full transformation. Sometimes it is only the first honest step. So if contact comes, stay grounded. Do not romanticize effort that should be consistent. Do not confuse one message with mastery. Do not abandon your discernment. Because movement finally appeared. Yes, reaching out can matter. Yes, vulnerability can matter. Yes, accountability can matter. But what matters most is what follows. Can they sustain truth? Can they communicate clearly? Can they handle discomfort without disappearing again? Can they respect boundaries without resentment? Can they meet the version of you that grew during the silence? Because many of you are not the same either. You changed. You softened inwardly while strengthening outwardly. You learned to stop chasing clarity from unavailable people. You learned that closure can come from within. You learned that longing does not require self-betrayal. You learned peace, and peace changes standards. So if they come forward now, it is not enough that they miss you. They must be able to meet you, not the old you who tolerated uncertainty, the present you who values consistency, the present you who listens to actions, the present you who can walk away calmly from what once consumed you. That is why some of them hesitate still. Because they sense you are no longer easy to impress. They sense apologies alone may not reopen what neglect closed. They sense that if they return now, they must return real. And truthfully, that is a gift. Because connections built the second time on honesty and maturity can become what they never were before. But only if both people are genuine. Only if fantasy gives way to reality. Only if accountability replaces blame. Only if presence replaces inconsistency. Only if love becomes practical, not just poetic. So what should you do now? If you feel their silence weakening, stay centered. Do not wait by the phone. Do not obsess over signs. Do not pause your growth to monitor their courage. Let them carry their own initiation. Let them choose truth without being energetically dragged there. Your role is not to rescue them from the consequences of delay. Your role is to remain aligned with the life you are building. If they are meant to speak, they will. If they are meant to return maturely, they will show it. If they are not ready, that will reveal itself too. Either way, truth serves you. And that is the deeper message here. This is not only about them breaking silence, it is about you no longer fearing silence. Because once you stop fearing silence, you stop being controlled by it. You stop assigning absence more power than it deserves. You stop interpreting delay as destiny. You stop making someone's hesitation mean something about your worth. That is freedom. So yes, many are approaching the moment where they can no longer hold back. Many are standing, one breath away from honesty. Many are realizing the message they avoided sending did not disappear with time, but whether they speak today, next week, or later than expected. Remember this, the greatest shift already happened. You became whole enough that their silence no longer defines your story. And when someone reaches for you, from that point forward, it is no longer from lack, it is from choice. So if they break their silence now, meet it with clarity, meet it with discernment, meet it with calm. Because what is real does not need panic. What is aligned does not need chasing. And what has truly changed will not ask you to shrink, to receive it. They are about to break their silence, but you already broke the spell of it.